Most people start software companies that are delivering some form of value to some end users. So like, for example, you could say like, we make it easier to sign documents online. That's DocuSign. We make it easier to send email messages to lots of people. Well, that's MailChimp. And like what that is doing is basically like automating parts of the world that used to take more time or more money and making it into software, something that is going to be predictable and repeatable. Well, what I've identified there is that in those types of startups, which is most startups, there's a technology product involved. This is a technology product that usually does involve coding, for example. And I've seen some people that try to say, oh, but I'm going to do no code solution for my app or whatever. Usually I find that those things fall apart. In my experience, any type of like drag and drop app or like no code solution, it just doesn't work when you actually start getting into the field and start solving the problem. Customers usually won't pay for a no-code solution, and in my personal experience, I could be wrong. The limiting variable for most startup founders, at least one part of it, is a coder, because that is like the person who's going to build the product. And if you don't code, coders are going to be expensive, or maybe you can find a coding co-founder, but that's a huge expense to like the whole startup game. It's just like getting a product up that people will actually pay for. And in my experience, investing in the idea is pretty weak. What investors do want to invest in usually is like a founding team. But what they're going to look for in that founding team, guess what? Usually it's a coder. They're going to say, who's going to develop this technology? Most of the investors that I've met do not want to fund a company to go and hire developers to build their idea. That's just not what investors usually back in my experience.